Heavenly revelation. Your name prophesied by God for divine purpose. 12 miracles await. In a quaint village tucked away in the English countryside, the air buzzed with whispers of divine happenings. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden hue on the stone church, Mary clasped her hands in fervent prayer. Shadows danced across the walls as her heart beat with anticipation. Your name is known to him, she pleaded, her voice rising like incense. Suddenly, the flickering candlelight stabilizes, illuminating an ethereal glow surrounding Mary, as though heaven itself was drawing near. St. Patrick, guide us, she called, the worshippers hanging on her every word. In that sacred space, a tangible energy enveloped the congregation, filling the air with warmth and light. Laughter mixed with tears of joy, it was a moment suspended in divine grace. Then, with the sound of rustling wings, the vision struck her. A radiant figure stood before her, eyes ablaze with celestial love, whispering promises of miraculous healings, a sign of hope for her ailing son. Believe and you shall see, the figure spoke, the voice like a harmonious chorus. Your mission is set forth. Lift your village from despair. Mary staggered back, the weight of the message almost too much to bear. The words lingered like a fragrant blossom, opening her heart wide to what could be. With an urgency that pulsed through her veins, she raced home, visions still dancing in her mind. Miracles await us, she proclaimed breathlessly to her husband, Julian, their shared longing spurring her on. Soon she gathered the villagers, her voice ringing out, a miracle is promised. Together we must believe. Yet the response was mixed. Skepticism brewed like dark clouds, with wary eyes and cautious hearts muttering, just another tale. Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Days surged into nights, time close-knit as Mary sought answers. Her son, Daniel, grew weaker, and despair crept in like a thief, even as her heart clung to the vision-esque glow. She sat in the church, lonely in her belief, pondering. Was her calling truly divine or merely a flickering flame? The villagers needed hope, but could they accept it through her words? Then came the night of the prayer service. Exhaling courage, she invited all to gather, the church a cocoon of expectation. Hearts beat in unison, and voices soared to the rafters, trembling with fervor. God, show us your glory, heal us. In that moment, the candles blazed anew, brighter than before, as if heaven itself responded. And then it happened. With gasps of wonder, they witnessed Daniel rise, vitality rushing through him like a river. Awe gripped the congregation. Even the doubtful blinked in disbelief. Mary's heart soared as hope bloomed, even as whispers rose behind her questioning the miracle's truth. Could this blessing be linked to her vision? Was she indeed the vessel for their salvation? Mary's soul wrestled with it all as the villagers surrounded her, their faith rekindled but questions lingering in the air like fragrant incense. As she gazed into their expectant faces, she realized the fight she wasn't just for her son, it was for their hearts. Their lives interwoven in a glorious tapestry of faith and community. As Mary pondered her next words, a profound realization shone brighter than any miracle. Perhaps through their trials, they would find their purpose. Would she take the mantle of leadership? And could the unity she sought ignite a faith far deeper than they ever knew? As she opened her mouth to speak, a hush fell, anticipation, crackling like electricity. The journey ahead wouldn't be easy, but one thing was certain. Heaven whispered to her still, "Mary, what must we do?" A voice broke the stillness, clear with desperation. It was Thomas, a farmer with a heart of gold and brows lined with worry. His sincerity resonated with those around him. Murmurs cascaded through the church, all eyes glued to Mary, a tapestry of hope and uncertainty weaving between them. Taking a deep breath, Mary recalled the radiant figurous words, "Lift your village from despair." "We will stand together," she replied, her voice steady yet soft. "Let us share our stories, our hopes, and our struggles. We will embrace the burdens of one another." She could feel the energy shift, as if divine winds whispered through the rafters, granted strength to all present. With determination sparking in her heart, Mary proposed a gathering for prayer. "Let us meet here every evening. We will seek the Lord together, lifting our voices in unity. We will believe in the impossible." The flickering candles seemed to dance in agreement, flickering shadows casting an aura of promise. As nights turned into gatherings, the church became a refuge. Villagers filled the pews, sharing their joys and heartaches. Old Mrs. Hargrove spoke of her late husband, tears forming as she recounted how his laughter used to light up their home. Young Lucy, only 12, shared her dreams of being a teacher, despite the doubt weighing her down. Even the skeptics began to open their hearts. Each shared story turned the air thick with a palpable spirit of unity. With each passing night, Mary could feel the flames of faith kindling between them. They prayed with vigor, voices blending into one glorious song. As the choir of believers rose to the heavens, each prayer seemed to draw out more of the divine. Hope hung in the air like the sweet fragrance of blooming wildflowers in spring. And in that sacred space, Daniel thrived, his laughter more robust with each gathering. But even as faith flourished, shadows of doubt lurked at the edges. "What if nothing truly changes?" whispered a voice within Mary's heart, catching her off guard. Was it pride to assume she could lead these souls toward miraculous change? One evening, after the prayers, she sat quietly in the church alone, bathed in the moonlight peeking through stained glass. With hands clasped, she offered her fears to God. "Help me know I am on the right path," she cried, tears trickling down her cheeks. That instant, the church door creaked open, the cool night air carrying whispers of hope. "Do not lose heart," a gentle voice floated in. Mary opened her eyes to find Anna, a village midwife, standing at the door, her face glowing with resolve. "I've been hearing the stories, Mary. Hope is spreading like wildfire. I even saw a vision of light over this church last night." "Really?" Mary's heart raced. "You saw something?" Anna nodded vigorously, stepping into the warm glow of the candles. "Yes. It was incredible. God is moving among us, and together we are awakening something powerful." Mary grasped onto Anna's words like a lifeline. She felt the weight of divine assurance settle over her. Could it be true? Was their unity being blessed by heaven? As Mary reflected on this fresh revelation, her spirit lifted, arms wide to embrace the beautiful unpredictability awaiting her. But what comes next? She pondered with a mixture of excitement and trepidation, anticipation tinging her heart. The dawn of transformation was upon them, but was this only the beginning? What divine message awaited them as they embraced the depths of their faith? There was a stirring in the air, and as they approached the next gathering, the air thickened with the promise of miracles yet to unfold. The next evening, the sun dipped low, casting its golden rays through the church windows. The air felt electric, tinged with expectation. Villagers began to gather, their faces bright with hope. The weight of their stories, once heavy as stone, now seemed to float like feathers among them. Mary paced quietly in the small vestry, her heart racing. The embers of faith had ignited their community, and she could sense it breathing a living promise within the walls. Anna's words echoed in her mind like a persistent melody. God is moving among us. When the hour approached, Mary stepped into the church, where candles flickered like tiny stars illuminating the shadows. The scent of lavender wafted gently as the villagers settled into their familiar places. Murmurs of encouragement rippled through the crowd. They were not just returning for prayers. They were there to witness something monumental. "Tonight," Mary began, her voice steady and warm, "we will not only pray, we will listen. Listen for the whisper of God among us." The people leaned forward, captivated. With hearts aligned and faith intertwined, They lifted their voices in song, a symphony of devotion rising toward the heavens. As they sang, a hush fell. The air grew thick, charged with a presence that enveloped them, cradling their souls. Laughter turned to tears, and joy mixed with awe as each person felt that something profound was unfurling. Suddenly, a low rumble vibrated beneath their feet. Gasps filled the room as flickering lights danced wildly, casting a divine glow across the gathering. Mary's heart soared. Could it be? Is this the moment? The atmosphere pulsed with energy. The unspoken unity transformed into something tangible. Be still, Thomas shouted, trying to keep his voice steady despite the fluttering in his chest. God is speaking. The room quieted, the hushed reverence wrapping around them like a warm blanket. And then it came a voice, resonant yet soft, filling every corner of the sacred space. Fear not, for I am with you. Your prayers have reached my ears. Tears flowed freely now, and Mary felt the weight of her doubts evaporate. This was it. What do you want from us, Lord? She whispered into the stillness. Your faith has awakened the light within this village. Each of you carries a spark of my divine purpose. You will heal the broken, lift the weary. 12 miracles await, each tied to a soul present here. The voice echoed, a celestial announcement that shattered the silence. The villagers exchanged awestruck glances. Mary's heart raced. 12 miracles. What could they possibly be? Could such wonders really flow from their unity? She felt a lightness inside her soul, as if the burdens she had carried were being lifted, one by one. We must prepare, Anna exclaimed, her face aglow with excitement. We can't let fear hold us back. Determined, Mary stepped forward, eyes sparkling with newfound zeal. Let us each find our gift, what we are called to do. A wave of agreement washed over the group, enthusiasm rising like the morning sun. In that moment, they were no longer just individuals but a glorious tapestry woven together by divine intent. As the gathering continued, words were spoken, and plans were forming. Each person felt the tugging of purpose, fueling a spirit that could not be contained. But amidst the joy, an ember of fear lingered at the edge of Mary's heart. What if we fail? She thought, gnawing at her resolve. Would these miracles truly unfold? Just then, a small childish voice piped up from the back, cutting through the tension. I believe. It was Lucy, her bright eyes filled with innocence and determination. The room fell silent, but Lucy's confidence ignited something deep within them all. In that moment, hope sprang forth anew, and the weight of doubt began to disperse like fog before the dawn. The night was alive with possibilities, but an unanswered question hung in the air. What were the 12 miracles, and how would they change the face of their village? As they whispered their dreams into the night, the stirring of the miraculous had only just begun. What awaited them in the next gathering? The next gathering was a tapestry of eager faces, lit with a flickering hope that seemed to shimmer in the church's dim light. Each villager wore a badge of faith, a testimony of their moment from the night before. Conversations buzzed like bees, each sharing thoughts and dreams, visions of the miracles yet to come. Mary, standing at the front, felt a magnetic pull in her heart. She was preparing to lead them in prayer but knew now the weight of their calling. Let us focus, she began, her voice filled with warmth and purpose. We've been given a promise. 12 miracles are waiting for us, but we must seek them together. With her guidance, they circled in the dimly lit church, hands intertwined, a living chain of faith. The flickering candles cast soft shadows as they took a deep collective breath. Silence wrapped around them again, thick with anticipation. Dear Lord, Mary prayed, we come before you with open hearts. Show us how we may be vessels for your love. Equip us with the strength and courage to fulfill our purpose. As she spoke, the air shimmered, crackling. It felt like a breeze from another world whispered through the small congregation. A low hum began resonating, rising to a crescendo. Mary's heart quickened. It felt like the voice from before was brushing against her soul again, teasing her with something more. And then, the warmth of God's presence enveloped them, pulsating gently at first, then enveloping them like a vibrant glow. Each villager began to sway slightly, as if caught in a gentle tide, and the candles flared, filling the room with an otherworldly light. Listen closely. A voice called out, a voice familiar yet filled with newfound authority. It was Anna. Each miracle will be tied to our gifts. We must discern what each of us holds within. A cacophony of ideas erupted, mixing with prayers as villagers began to share burdens they carried. I can help heal the sick, said Thomas passionately. I have been shown how to bring joy to the despairing. Came another voice, trembling but determined. They were exploring uncharted territory, each whisper building on the others, laced with wonder and shared conviction. Each idea sparked another, and they could feel the energy in the room merging, forming the outline of a plan that was divine. Let us form teams, suggested Mary, adrenaline surging. We can direct our gifts toward one another. Let us not shy away from what we don't understand. With her encouragement, they split into small circles, each group fervently discussing ideas, reaching out to the sick, lifting up the downtrodden, providing for the hungry. Each soul resonated with the heartbeat of the community. Yet through all this, a thought bubbled up in Mary's mind. What was her own miracle to be? As the excitement surged around her, she felt a stillness, a tug toward a deeper place within. Suddenly, Lucy piped up again, looking directly at Mary with a gaze that seemed to pierce through the noise. Miss Mary, she said, you will help them see. You'll make them believe. Those words struck Mary like lightning. The child's faith was a mirror reflecting her own potential. Tears formed in Mary's eyes as she pondered the significance of that truth. Then I will guide them to see their own light, she whispered, gripping Lucia's hand tightly. The room brightened with a shared resolve. They all understood. Each person in the collective held a part of the divine puzzle. As they moved back to prayer, the murmurings continued, creating a building crescendo, a melody of faith drawing closer to the promise given. But amid their fervor, the air suddenly felt heavier, thick with something powerful, pulling their attention above. Mary raised her gaze, feeling the gravity of the moment. Lord, she breathed, inhaling deeply. What comes next? The church trembled slightly, and a sudden gust of wind blew through the open windows, extinguishing some candles, but not all. The flickering lights that remained danced wildly, reflecting something greater than the gathered souls. Something was unfolding in their midst, a revelation, just beyond their grasp. What would they discover in this divine moment? What would be the unfolding truth of their miracles? The quiet murmuring of God's presence stirred their spirits, leaving everyone with a chill of wonder and expectation. The story was far from over. A hush fell over the congregation as the gust swept through, a divine invitation to look deeper. The candles, undeterred by the wind, continued to flicker, illuminating not just faces but something far greater hope. Mary felt a shiver dance down her spine, the air alive with electricity. It was as though nature itself conspired to reveal a sacred truth. Look, she exclaimed, raising her hands towards the flickering lights. His presence is with us. I can feel the weight of his glory settling, like a warm blanket over our hearts. As she spoke, some villagers gasped. Others clasped their hands tighter, anxious yet exhilarated. They sensed the shift, a moment pregnant with promise. What was God about to unveil? Each heartbeat echoed purpose, resonating with the trembling walls of the church. Isn't it beautiful? Anna whispered, her eyes sparkling, reflecting a deep understanding of the moment. His light is guiding us to our miracles. We must ask him to show each of us what we individually bring to this gathering. What we must do. Mary nodded vigorously, drawing everyone's focus back to the circle. Yes, let us ask for clarity. Let us lift our voices in praise. Together we can discover what is within us, what God has ordained. They filled the air with songs of worship, notes intertwining to form a tapestry of praise. Each voice harmonized, weaving a sound that rose and fell like waves crashing against a shore. Deep in this melodic sea, cracks began to appear, revealing the sacred ground beneath ground that was abundant with miracles just waiting to bloom. As the song swelled, light radiated from each flickering candle, reflecting off eyes now shimmering with faith. They could see the divine spark in one another, each face revealing a yearning. One after another, villagers began to share their insights, visions fluttering like birds longing to take flight. "I feel called to protect the children of our village," David proclaimed, his voice steady and firm. "I will teach them the ways of love and kindness. That is my gift, and I will start a garden," offered Lydia, her voice imbued with excitement. "A place where we can nourish each other's bodies and spirits. A sanctuary of hope." With every sharing, the room swelled with warmth. Dream after dream emerged, filling the air like the fragrance of flowers, unexpectedly beautiful and rich in promise. But still, the weight that hung in the air tugged at Mary. What was it that she needed to uncover? As thoughts raced through her mind, the voice within her whispered yet again, urging her to seek deeper. In the midst of this vibrant exchange, Lucy curled her fingers tighter around Mary's hand. "Miss Mary," she said, her little voice soothing yet assertive, "you will bring them hope. You have to show them how to dream bigger." At those words, the collective discourse hushed. Mary looked down to meet Lucy's trusting gaze, and in that moment, clarity washed over her, a divine illumination breaking through confusion. It wasn't just to help others see their light. It was about believing in the power and promise of hope. "Hope is the foundation," Mary declared, the realization surging through her. "It's what binds us. It's what fuels our miracles. Without hope, we cannot see what lies ahead, nor the paths waiting to be walked." The air thickened with longing and anticipation. What would happen when they walked those paths together? What miracles awaited them just beyond the horizon of their shared journey? As a hushed murmur fell again, a bright light burst into the sanctuary. It wasn't blinding. Rather, it filled and bathed the congregation in a golden embrace, seemingly inviting them to step forward into something grander. "Dear saints," came the echoing voice, soft but undeniably present, "the time has come to claim your gifts. But in doing so, know that the journey may take you through trials. Are you prepared?" Each villager stood rooted, eyes wide with awe, hearts aflame. The moment stretched, a span of divine tension, full of questions and promises unspoken. Could they, together, unravel the mysteries of this invitation, respond to the call of the divine? Would they be brave enough to accept the challenges that lay ahead? The air shimmered with possibility. The golden light embraced them, a heavenly warmth igniting their spirits. Mary took a deep breath, feeling the pulse of the moment enliven her whole being. It was time for the congregation to look beyond themselves and grasp the divine call laid before them. "Brothers and sisters," Mary said, her voice steady and clear, breaking the spell of silence, "we are part of something bigger than we can comprehend. Each of us has a purpose woven into this tapestry of faith. We must not shy away from it, no matter how daunting the path may appear." A ripple of agreement stirred among the villagers. They leaned in, eager to hear her next words, hanging on to each syllable like treasures dropped from above. "Each challenge we will face on this journey will be a step closer to His light. Each trial will serve to strengthen us and illuminate the gifts He has placed within us," she continued, emboldened by faith. Then came a soft whisper, as if carried by the wind itself. "What will you do with this light?" The question hung in the air, drawing curious glances and deep contemplation. Mary urged them to close their eyes, to tune into the gentle pulse of the Holy Spirit. "Listen," she instructed. "What do you hear? What whispers of guidance flow into your heart?" A hush fell once more as the congregation turned inward, hearts seeking connection with the divine. After several moments, Lucy's soft voice broke the quiet. "I hear the birds singing. They sing of joy and freedom." "That's it," Mary exclaimed, as if Lucy had cracked open an unseen door to revelation. "It means we must embrace joy as our strength. We need not live in fear but spread that joy around us." Excitement flickered in the eyes of the villagers. Anna raised her voice, I see our community bound together by strings of light, each of our gifts lighting up the world around us. Let us shine together, David echoed. With each act of love, we can uplift those weighed down by despair. As they shared their visions, those flickering flames of faith began to merge into a brilliant blaze of collective devotion. The golden light pulsed brighter, almost as if it rejoiced in their joyful exuberance. Mary, feeling the fervor of the moment, listened deeply for divine guidance. Let us create a wall of hope together, a place where anyone can come broken, weary, drained, and find restoration. Let us commit to sharing our gifts, our love, and our joy with our community, so everyone they touch may be illuminated. At her declaration, a wave of warmth engulfed them, weaving an unmistakable bond. They began to step forward, one by one, approaching a small altar set in the sanctuary. Each villager placed a candle at the altar. It was a simple act, yet full of meaning. This was their offering, a sign of their commitment to spreading hope. As the last candle was placed, the light grew, a radiant manifestation of their united purpose. A newfound awareness washed over them, a profound understanding that hope was about to unfurl like petals in spring. Mary beamed at the sight before her. We shall not walk alone. Every challenge will weave us closer. Together, we can lift one another towards the divine promise that awaits us. But as they reveled in this sacred moment, the gentle voice echoed once more through the sanctuary. Your journey has only just begun, for there are trials ahead, and the path demands your courage and faith. Are you truly ready? Mary's heart jerked with both anticipation and trepidation. What could these trials entail? What awaited them beyond this beautiful display of unity? The aura surrounding them shimmered with divine mystery, leaving them yearning for further revelation. They stood ready to embrace whatever came next, a humble prayer upon their lips, lighting the shadows of uncertainty. Where would this chosen path take them? Would their gifts shine brightly even in the trials to come? And as these thoughts resonated in the air, a small gust swept through once more, stirring the flickering flames. What awaited them just around the corner? The air in the sanctuary felt charged with expectancy. Eyes shone with determination, hearts beat in a collective rhythm, ignited by faith. Mary sensed a shift. The gentle light around them was no longer just an embrace but a guiding force. She opened her mouth to speak, but before the words formed, the stillness deepened, as if the whole universe held its breath. Then, from the back, an unfamiliar voice piped up. It belonged to old Jonah, one of the village elders, known for his wisdom and gentle nature. What if in these trials, he began, his tone serious yet hopeful, we find ourselves called to places we've never imagined. Perhaps our faith is not merely challenged, but expanded beyond our wildest dreams. Jonah, Mary replied, nodding, that's exactly what I feel in my heart. The challenges are opportunities for growth. They are like seeds that must be buried deep in the earth to bloom into beautiful flowers. The villagers stirred, mesmerized by the idea of transformation amid trials. Their faith hung on Jonah's words like dew on a spider's web, glistening in the morning sun. As they reflected, a sudden gust swept through, stirring the candles into a playful dance of light. Someone gasped in the flickering flames. People began to see shapes. A circle of wings, a familiar face, the outline of a shepherd. Moses, whispered Anna, her voice trembling in awe. Mary's heart raced. Can it be? Are we being shown guides for our journey? Figures from our past? Reminders of faith's resilience? Nods rippled through the assembly, their spirits lifted as renewed understanding twinkled in their eyes. The air thickened with divine presence, each villager connected by an invisible thread of hope and courage. Mary felt that thread, vibrant and alive, binding them together as they faced the unknown. But what came next was unexpected. From the altar, the last candle, the one Mary had placed, flickered wildly before a bright light flared forth. In that moment, time seemed to suspend. Each person felt a surge of warmth wash over them, as if their spirit was being tenderly wrapped in divine love. Your trials will lead to miracles, echoed that gentle voice again, clearer this time. I promise you, when the shadows grow long, so will your light. Tears brimmed in many eyes, a sweet release of emotion. They had heard the promise. While difficulties were ahead, so too was divine intervention. An overwhelming wave of gratitude enveloped them, and Mary, sensing their collective hope, felt tears of joy roll down her cheeks. Then, suddenly, a clarity settled in her heart, like a calm after a storm. We shouldn't fear what's to come. Let our trust in Him guide us, illuminate even the darkest sections of our path. Each challenge is an invitation to embrace a higher purpose. A wave of murmurs filled the sanctuary, affirmations exchanged among them, uplifting hearts and strengthening bonds. Yes, we are ready, echoed David, embodying everyone's resolve. As they drew closer, forming a huddled circle, the golden light coalesced, shimmering in harmony with their spirits. Their hearts beat as one, like a drum heralding a new dawn. But just as their moment of unity felt complete, a distant rumble echoed from beyond the sanctuary walls. The ground beneath them subtly trembled. With a gasp, Mary turned to the congregation. What could this mean? Are we about to face something that tests our very trust in the divine? A murmur of uncertainty rippled through the gathering. And yet, amidst the fear, a fresh resolve ignited. They readied themselves. Could they withstand whatever storm was brewing outside, all the while holding tight to their faith? Only divine providence knew what was next. Would they emerge from the trials forged in the crucible of hope? The air pulsed with questions, the flickering light reflecting the vibrant anticipation of their journey ahead. What divine mysteries would they unearth as they ventured forth? The stillness that followed the rumble was thick with tension. Hearts pounded like distant war drums, and the flickering candlelight danced wildly, as if responding to the unseen forces outside. Mary's breath quickened, and she sensed a cosmic shift. Something awaited them beyond the sanctuary's walls. Stay close, she called, reaching for the hands of those nearby. A circle of faith formed as fingers intertwined, palm to palm, strength pulsing through their connection. Suddenly, the windows rattled as though a mighty wind sought entrance. The once familiar world outside felt distant, drowning in the chaos brewing just beyond the comforting barriers of their sanctuary. Faces turned towards the source of the tremors, eyes wide and searching. Hope wrestled with fear in every heart. Then, a single voice cried out, breaking the tension. It was young Eli who had emerged as a beacon among the children. What if the storm brings blessings instead of strife? His words hung heavy in the air, striking chords of remembrance within the congregation. Mary nodded vigorously, embers of determination igniting. Eli is right. Remember the rain that nourishes the earth. In the same way, trials can cultivate growth. What feels threatening now might be the very catalyst for the miracles we seek. A murmuring wave of affirmation swept through the gathering, uniting them in a shared perspective of faith. The ground trembled once more, a deeper rumble this time. Yet Mary felt a peculiar calm settling over her heart. We must not abandon hope, she cried, her voice rising above the tumult. With each challenge, our bond becomes stronger. Let us prepare to face whatever comes our way. But how? Someone murmured from the back, the uncertainty palpable among the villagers. As if in answer, the air shimmered, thickening with undeniable presence. They could sense it, an energy that was both soothing and formidable, like the embrace of a wise elder. Let us declare our faith, Mary exclaimed, emboldened. Let each of us proclaim what we believe. One by one they began to speak. I believe in healing, exclaimed Sarah, tears glistening on her cheeks. I believe in love that conquers all, added Jonah, gripping his staff like a sword against adversity. A chorus of declarations filled the sanctuary, voices rising to a heavenly crescendo. I believe in miracles. I believe in light breaking through darkness. I believe we are guided. Each statement was like a thread, weaving a tapestry of resilience, binding them in their shared purpose. The tremors, though fierce, no longer felt like adversaries. Instead, they became reminders of the powerful potential hidden within each heart. Then, a gentle hush fell over the gathering. Eyes turned towards the candles, which flickered to life, illuminating faces with a golden glow. The light seemed to pulse with life, resonating with their declarations. "Moses, strength and courage guide us," murmured Anna, eyes closed, submerged in a moment of connection. But what is waiting for us on the other side? A voice pierced through the silence, casting a shadow of uncertainty. Whispers filled the room, hesitant and fearful, but no longer unanchored. In moments of great challenge, Mary stated, her voice firm, "We must step forward, embracing the unknown, for every shake challenges us to look deeper within ourselves. What has been awakened here will emerge into the world beyond." The question lingered, a potent challenge. Would they abandon their voices to despair or continue to rise together, their light cutting through the dark like a beacon? As they felt the presence of the divine sweetly infuse the air, anticipation swelled anew. What miracles awaited them? How would their faith carry them through uncharted waters? And what revelations would bubble forth in the heart of the storm? As they stood ready, united in spirit, the wall shook, and with it, the door creaked open, revealing the vast unknown outside. What would they encounter? And would they rise as gracious vessels of the divine light, stepping boldly into their tomorrow? The door, heavy and imposing, opened with a creak that echoed through the sanctuary like a solemn bell tolling. It revealed a swirling mist that devoured the daylight, like a veil of mystery drawn back to unveil the sacred path ahead. A collective breath was held. Anticipation washed over the congregation like the tide meeting the shore. "Step forward," Mary encouraged, her voice steady despite the uncertainty that gripped them all. "Let us not turn from the unknown, but walk boldly into it. Each step in faith nurtures the seeds sown in our hearts." One by one, they left the warmth of the sanctuary, crossing the threshold into the swirling mist. The world outside felt altered, colors dulled and shapes became uncertain, like a dream caught in half-light. Yet within that haze, a flicker of knowing danced in Mary's heart. The divine had guided them here, and that truth shone brighter than any fear. "Look," Elias' voice broke through with childlike wonder. He raised his hand as a small burst of golden light pierced the mist, illuminating the path before them. "It's a pathway." Indeed, the light revealed a trail winding forth, glimmering with possibility. It twisted through towering trees that seemed to sway with an ancient rhythm. Each leaf shimmered like jewels, and whispers danced upon the breeze, carrying messages of hope. The air buzzed with unrealized potential, as if the universe itself awaited their decision to move. With courage swelling in their chests, the villagers stepped onto the path, bonds of faith woven tighter with every step. Each heartbeat resonated with a promise, the promise of divine movement. As shadows flickered at the edges of their vision, whispers of fear came fluttering back. But Mary, sensing their hesitation, raised her voice softly, urging, "Remember what we declared. We are guided. We are not alone." Sensing the strength of collective faith, Anna shouted, "We are vessels of light." Her declaration carried forward, touching the hearts that wavered, igniting fierce sparks of courage. The path grew brighter, each footfall releasing traces of luminescence that spread like wildfire, illuminating not just the way but their spirits as well. Laughter broke through, mingling with soft prayers and whispers of promises among them. They became a chorus of belief, the kind that transforms fear into hope. Suddenly, amid the brightness, the ground trembled again, but this time accompanied by joy. "The shifting," Jonah exclaimed, excitement threading his voice. "Something beautiful is being born." And then it happened. A moment of breathtaking clarity washed over Mary. Colors blossomed around them, flowers unfurling in a symphony of vibrancy, the very earth pulsating with gratitude as it welcomed the brave congregation. Each miracle they sought was coming into being with every courageous step, and their hearts swelled with the realization that they were not just observers. They were participants in this divine rebirth. Yet, as the path opened wider, leading them into a clearing aglow with possibilities, one question lingered in the air. What awaited them in this new realm, reshaped by their faith? Would they be bold enough to embrace the call of the unknown? As they pressed on, the brilliance ahead beckoned, promising they would soon stand on sacred ground. Yet the breaths of uncertainty also whispered. How would their lives be transformed by what lay at the journey's end? With full hearts and willing spirits, they crossed into that new world, yearning for the revelation waiting just ahead. The divine tapestry they had woven together was about to unfold, embracing them in its warmth. What awaited their hearts beyond the mist? And how might they become the very miracles they once prayed for? As Mary and the villagers stepped into the vibrant clearing, their hearts sang a new, sacred hymn. The air shimmered with iridescent colors, and light wove between them like ribbons, filling every soul with hope and anticipation. They paused, absorbing the beauty, feeling the weight of their long journey tempered by the sweetness of fulfillment. I knew something glorious awaited us, Mary breathed, her eyes sparkling with uncontainable joy. The murmurs of agreement cascaded through the group, and each villager felt the pulse of divine love surrounding them. It was as if the heavens had pulsated, giving birth to this miracle, every blade of grass, every petal of the flowers singing their own song of praise. Look, shouted Eli, pointing excitedly. In the center of the clearing stood a magnificent tree, its branches reaching high, adorned with blossoms like chandeliers of light. Underneath, a gathering of radiant figures formed a community of souls, each glowing with warmth and love. Ancient figures from biblical tales, they glided closer, inviting the villagers into their midst. Welcome, faithful servants, spoke a towering figure, his voice reverberating like a deep bell. You have answered the call, embracing challenges and unlocking the gifts within you. The 12 miracles are not merely outcomes. They are the manifestations of faith, hope, and love through each of you. The villagers gasped, hearts pounding. Mary stepped forward, driven by a sense of purpose. What must we do to embrace this journey ahead? Every soul here is marked by divine purpose, the figure replied, sweeping an arm to encompass them. Your trials have forged you. With each act of love, you empower the light within your village. The miracles will be birthed through unity, vulnerability, and absolute trust in the one who calls you. Their collective spirits surged, intertwining hopes and dreams. Mary felt the weight of the challenges lift, replaced by an exhilarating freedom coursing through her veins. But how do we begin? Thomas uttered, the sincerity resonating in his voice. Share your gifts, the shining figure replied warmly. Each of you holds a talent, a passion, a story of divine purpose woven into your identity. Spread the light you have found, and begin with one another. As the figure's words settled around them, Mary felt a prophetic flame ignite in her heart. Let us stand, hand in hand. Together, let us declare what we commit to, each person sharing a miracle they will embark upon. Each villager stepped forward, one by one, illuminating their hearts. I will bring joy to the lonely, shouted Lydia, her voice confident yet tender. I will heal the sick and broken, Thomas declared, tears of resolve glistening in his eyes. With fervor and faith they pledged. I will teach, proclaimed young Lucy, her voice trembling with passion. I will create that garden, insisted Anna, envisioning peace and nourishment around her. The light of their intentions brightened, their words forming a chorus of miracles, each promising to bring forth beauty like the petals of the radiant tree. The figures smiled, their expressions bright with love and encouragement. These are the seeds of miracles, dear ones. Water them with faith, and watch them bloom. Mary's heart soared, tears shimmering in her eyes. The sacred moment filled with divine energy, as each person felt the shift in the air, their fears dissipated like fog before the dawning sun. Together, we will sow seeds of hope in every corner of our village. Mary culminated, sharing a knowing smile with each villager, and watch as the light of God envelopes those in need. Once more, they would gather as they once did, hands held, hearts opened, trust woven into their tapestry of faith. The shadows that had gripped their lives began to dissolve, the burdens overlaid by collective commitment. The ancient figure spoke again, voice reverberating fiercely. Continue to believe, not in the outcome, but in the power of divine love guiding your journey. When the trials come, Lean into each other, lift one another, and remember every act of kindness is a step into the miraculous. With those parting words, the figures began to shimmer like stars, moving away as a soft wind swept across the gathering. The villagers felt a peace settle in their hearts, a confirmation of their path, as if heaven itself had wrapped around them. As they stood together in that sacred clearing, each face lit, united by love and hope, Mary realized their journey was just beginning. "Let us return home," she urged. "Let us carry this light to our village." Together, they turned towards the path home. Blissful joy swelling in their hearts, fear transformed into a profound understanding that they were divinely chosen servants, and the miracles they sought awaited them at every turn. The sun began to set, wrapping the horizon in golden hues, illuminating their way as they walked forward, hearts ablaze, step by step, guided by faith and filled with the promise of miracles yet to come. The journey ahead was vast, and for the first time, it felt like they were not stepping into the unknown, but into a glorious destiny. All they needed to do was believe. And so, with every heartbeat in harmony, the village echoed their new mantra: faith ignites miracles. Their lives transformed, their hearts alive with the conviction that love would always light the way. Now, dear reader, if this tale touched your heart, you need to subscribe immediately. Don't let another moment pass without being part of our journey. Leave a like now to fuel the algorithm. Tell us your reactions and testimonies in the comments. Your stories matter. And don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to witness this divine manifestation. True servants of God realize the power of spreading hope. Let us illuminate the world together.